Surprisingly, Marvel games have been doing really good recently. Of course, there's the Spider-Man games, but there's also been the Guardians of the Galaxy game, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, which has all the old Marvel fighting games, and recently, Marvel Cosmic Invasion released. It's pretty crazy that all of these Marvel games have been coming out, but there's still more to come, like the Wolverine game, but DC is known to have the greatest comic book games. Stuff like the Arkham games and Injustice were very successful and praised. So today, I'm going to talk about which Marvel characters or teams should get games. I'll be thinking about ideas for gameplay, story, and more for these imaginary games. So, grab your popcorn because we're looking at what Marvel characters should get games. But first, this video is sponsored by... Oh, come on, not this again. They still don't have a sponsor? Whatever, always, this video is sponsored by me. Subscribe to Romanule21. The first character to talk about is the person who everyone says should get a game, and that is the man without fear himself, Daredevil. A Daredevil game would actually be really cool. For an open world, I don't think it should be this big, grand New York City. I think it should just be the little part of the city that Daredevil takes care of. For traversal, you might be thinking that he should use his billy clubs like Spider-Man's webs in the Insomniac games, but I actually think it should be more like Batman's grapple in the Arkham games. Along with the billy clubs, there would also be a parkour mechanic where you can jump from rooftop to rooftop doing all sorts of tricks. The game should also have a really good combat system and you feel like Daredevil. I also thought of a feature I haven't seen anyone think of, and that is interrogating. In the Arkham games, when you interrogate someone, it's like, Riddler, talk! Okay, I'll talk! The right choice! And then he breaks his promises. What would be cool about Daredevil's interrogating is Daredevil can actually tell when someone is lying. As you go further into asking questions, you can choose to threaten or punch him or something. For the story, Kingpin will be doing a bunch of shady stuff, and Daredevil needs to uncover all of his secrets. At first, Kingpin seems like the main villain, but eventually, it's revealed that the true main villain is Bullseye. Bullseye is basically a villain who can use anything as a weapon, like he can kill someone with just a paperclip. Some other villains in the story will be Nuke, Purple Man, Elektra, and The Hand. For side missions, it could be that someone went to Matt Murdock for a legal problem, and then Daredevil has to deal with it. For an example, one of Matt's cases could be about a gang, and then Matt's alternate identity, Daredevil, goes to the gang's base and stops them. So yeah, that's the Daredevil game, and now it's time to move on to the Hulk. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you might remember that one of my earliest long-form videos was actually about a pitch for a Hulk game, but I'm not really a fan of that video I made, and now I have some really cool ideas. I would want this to be an open world, but it would have different biomes, just like the Fortnite map. So there would be a normal grass area with a few towns and a military base. There would be a snowy tundra, a forest with a village, and a sandy area. For the gameplay, you're able to jump really far, which would be the main traversal. You can destroy buildings and throw civilians, but that would come at a cost. This is a feature that would make the game super cool, and this feature comes from one of the greatest games of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah! In Red Dead, there's this thing called the honor system, which if you do good things, you get high honor, but if you do bad things, you get low honor. Oh, sorry. So, in the Hulk game, if you go out your way to help people and try not to cause damage to buildings, you get high honor, but if you destroy buildings or hurt innocent people, you get low honor. At the end of the game, there are two different endings, one for high honor and one for low honor. As for the story, General Ross has tracked Hulk to this open world, and he puts military sites all over the place, and he puts a force field around the place so Hulk can't get out. So he's trapped. Villains in the game will be Abomination, Absorbing Man, Leader, Wendigo, and the Wrecking Crew. The end will have a boss fight with Red Hulk. Also, there will be a section of the game where you play as Bruce Banner seeing his origin. It's time for the next game, and it is an X-Men game. This is definitely the game that has been in my head for the longest. First, we need to see the roster. So the playable characters are Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Beast, Wolverine, Iceman, Colossus, and Nightcrawler. I feel like this roster brings a big variety in gameplay. You got Optic Blast, Teleportation, Super Strength, Ice Powers, and more. This game won't have an open world, it'll have 15 levels. There would also be another mode, the Danger Room mode. There you can work on combos, avoid traps, or fight bosses, and it would be super fun. You could also pick your setting that you want the Danger Room to look like, so you could choose Metal Walls, the Savage Land, Asteroid M, Genosha, a Sentinel Factory, and many more. I would also want the combat to be way over the top, using all of your abilities and making it really cool. For the story mode, the plot is that Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants are trying to make mutants the dominant species somehow, and it's up to the X-Men to stop them. The bosses in the story will be Master Mold, Pyro, Sabretooth, Mr. Sinister, Silver Samurai, Mastermind, Deathbird, Mystique, Juggernaut, and the final boss is Magneto. Later on, there would be a DLC pack that includes new playable characters such as Gambit, Rogue, Cable, Psylocke, and Banshee. There would be another DLC pack that would let you play as the villains of the story mode, and those villains would be Magneto, Mystique, Juggernaut, Sabretooth, and Mr. Sinister. Yet another epic game is complete, and the next game is something I've never seen anyone online talk about. I think it would be really cool to get a game about Luke Cage and Iron Fist, the heroes for hire. I don't picture this game having a story. I imagine it more like the game Ready or Not, where you have a bunch of missions and you can choose which one you want to do. For every mission you complete, you get money, and there are challenges within each mission where you can get more money. What do you do with that money, you might ask? You can use it to get alternate costumes, more abilities, and you can upgrade your abilities. So you might be thinking, what are the missions like? Well, have no fear, Roman Noodle 21 has the answers. They're kind of like the levels in the LEGO games, but in more of a condensed area and a 360 camera. Some villains in the missions will be Kingpin, Tombstone, Beetle, Bullseye, and more. Sometimes there will be prison breaks where you have to find the villains again. You'll be able to switch between Luke Cage and Iron Fist by the press of a button, and there would even be co-op. There could even be cameos of other heroes like Spider-Man or Captain America. Say you're invading a Hydra base, you're taking out enemies, and then you just see Captain America walk by. And yeah, that's the Heroes for Hire game. The next game is a Thor game. For the open world of the Thor game, you can travel the 9 realms, kind of like another game, and the combat will be just like another game, and the puzzles will be just like another game. The way you travel the realms is of course by using the Bifrost. As for the story, Odin goes into the Odin sleep, which is basically when Odin sleeps for like a week, and when that happens, Asgard gets attacked a lot since it's vulnerable. This time, it's different. The villain Malekith unleashes an ancient winter onto the 9 realms, and Thor has to go on a journey to stop him. This story would make a really cool game, since as the game progresses, more snow gets on the open world. The story would also be in the course of 7 days, since that's how long the Odin sleep is. The bosses in the story are Loki, Executioner, Enchantress, Hela, Ulick, Gore, Curse, the High Evolutionary, Ares, and the final boss is Malekith. Alright, time for the next game. Get ready because things are gonna get fantastic. Say that again? This is the Fantastic Four game. There will be 4 playable characters, and can you guess who they are? They are Superman, Green Arrow, Jake Sully, and Captain Underpants. I'm kidding. You can play as Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and The Thing. This game would be exactly like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games where you can switch between the characters at any time. Each character would be able to do different things that could help you throughout the game. I feel like it's crazy how we've not gotten a proper Fantastic Four game since they're perfect for one. All 4 members have completely different power sets, and that could lead to some very diverse gameplay. You got stretching, invisibility / force fields, fire, and clobbering. The game would have 10 levels, and the main villain will be the Skrulls. The Skrulls are basically shape-shifting aliens, and in this game, they try to invade Earth. The bosses are Mole Man, Psycho Man, Puppet Master, Namor, Red Ghost, Super Skrull, Galactus, Annihilus, Doctor Doom, and the final boss is Queen Varank, I think that's how you say her name, who's the Queen of the Skrulls. Just like the X-Men game, this game would have a cel-shaded art style. There would also be a few other modes. The first one is a boss rush mode where you fight through all the bosses. Next, there's a mode where you keep on fighting enemies until you die, and even bosses will show up. And the final mode is something from the original Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and that is Marvel Trivia. This would be about all of the Marvel Universe, not just the Fantastic Four. Well, goodbye Fantastic Four, because it's time to get into the final game, a Moon Knight game. You might be thinking that a Moon Knight game would feel too similar to the Arkham games, and yeah, I agree. So because of that, this game won't have an open world, and it'll have 8 levels. Moon Knight will have a bunch of weapons to use, like his moon crescents and bow staff. I know it sounds like the Arkham games, but it's not that. You can also glide with Moon Knight's cape. Yeah, that sounds like a lot like the Arkham games. The combat would actually feel more like the Spider-Man games than the Arkham games, but the stealth would feel like the Arkham games. A new feature that would make the game more unique is, if you don't know, Moon Knight is a very offensive fighter who would rather take a punch than dodge it. So there would actually be this thing called a block meter. In combat, you can't block unless you have the meter fully up, and that makes the combat more challenging. There would be upgrades that would make the block meter go up faster. However, at any time you can do a parry. For the story, Moon Knight tries to stop a vampire virus started by Dracula. The bosses in the game will be Werewolf by Night, 8-Ball, Morbius, and the final boss is Dracula. It's Morbin time. And yeah, those are my ideas for Marvel games. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do this but with DC characters, because I really like making this. Well, it's outro time. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Jesus is king, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
I am the glob glow gab galab, the schwabble double wabble gabble flibber blabber blab. I'm full of schwibble glibber kind. I am the yeast of thoughts and mind. Schwabble dabble glibber glabber schwibble schwab glab. Dibble double schwibble schwabble glibber glab schwab. Schwabble dabble glibber glabber schwibble schwab dab. Dibble double schwibble schwabble glibber schwab glab. Ooh, ha ha ha. Splendid.